Right, welcome back to the channel. I'm Steve and this is Life in the First Lane. Right, so the topic of conversation today is going to be about my Mazda. I've bought a Mazda CX-5 from a dealership, and this is in response to a couple of comments that were made over Lana's last couple of videos regarding the Mini Cooper S that we've bought from auction. Now, when I say let's talk about the channel, thank you for all the support recently. It's been brilliant, the views, the new subscribers, the positivity on the comments, so thank you for that. As Lana said on the last one, we do it more for our own memories and everything else, and if we can, you know, give you guys ideas of where you want to go on days out, etc., or whatever we've been doing, brilliant, it helps. Right, so a little bit of history. Last year, or the year before, I went through a bit of a midlife crisis. I had a Volvo V40. I then went out and bought a Mazda MX-5 in the May. And then in the July, I bought Teddy, which is our classic Mini. I then decided I wanted a convertible with 4 seats because I've got 2 kids, we've got Lana, and it sort of made sense that if we were all going out together and we wanted to go out in the convertible, we couldn't go out in the Mazda. So what I did was that I bought Biggie, who's the black convertible Mini Cooper. I sold the MX-5 and I then sold the Volvo, I sold the Volvo and then I sold the MX-5, right? And then I was sort of stuck with Biggie as my work car, my daily drive, which was fine, you know. I'm fully behind using Biggie for that type of thing. We got plenty of mileage out of him. I really enjoy driving him in the summer with the roof down. You know, it was great. However, it just wasn't practical for me for work. So yeah, I had to get a new car. Now at the same time, Lana was having problems with her Clio. Again, a car bought from a dealership. Alright? So I thought to myself, you know what, I'm going to buy a new car. Lana needs a new car. So what did we do? I went out and bought the Mazda CX-5 that I'm in now. And then Lana bought Biggie off me. I was going to give it to her, but she wanted to pay in money before anyone says, you can't believe you've sold a car to your wife. Right, so that's where we're up to. Now, last July 2024, I bought my Mazda CX-5. It's a 2.2 turbo diesel sport, Mazda CX-5 Sky Active engine. So afterwards, I find out it's not necessarily the best engines to have for these cars, but it's the engine that I've bought. He's had 62,000 miles, clean MOT, no advisories. Great, sounds perfect. Got him for 8.5 grand, right? Now, to address the comments on the previous videos, you buy from an auction, you take the risk of buying something that's really, really bad, you've got to do a lot of work. I've experienced that with this car. Okay? So, when I got the car, the first couple of thousand miles was fine, and then all of a sudden the dashboard lit up like a Christmas tree. I had the engine management light come on, I had the TPMS sensor come on, I had the smart city braking sensor come on, my tyre pressures all come on, and it was like, right, what the hell is going on now? Okay, so took it back to the dealership. They reset the codes. It should be fine now. I then brought the car back home, and then I had issues with the brakes. All those lights then came on again, so I took it back up to the dealership. And I said to him, look, I've been doing some research, and apparently that's all to do with the boost the boost section of the turbo, you know, how the car's running. No, it's not, it's fine. We went on we took it on the drive. He had the brakes squeaking, so he was going to do that for me. Anyway, long story short, I left the car. Now, we bought the car from Bury, and I live in Ellesmere Port, so it's not like a quick 5 minutes, let's nip it back to the garage. You know, we have to arrange for these things to happen. So a week later, we picked up the car. He's had the brake test done, said the brakes were fine, not an issue. He hadn't done anything with the turbo or anything like that. They just reset the codes. I was losing my temper with the garage at this point, you know. So we decided just to fix the issues as we were going. We then take the car to Caffeine in a Machine. Go back, put the description of that video, put the link to that for that video in the description below. Go and watch that video. As we were down that neck of the woods, I get a little bit of a twang in the bay, in the engine bay, and then a light came up on the dashboard that says engine, something along the lines of engine charging not happening, car may cut out immediately, or something like that. So I pull over, I've opened up the engine, have a look, got fluid everywhere. Right, this ain't good. Tried to get picked up by the recovery, but you know, can't get signal where we were, etc. So we were on Google, we found a nice little garage where we were staying, and I took it into him. When he had the look at it, he said, yeah, your alternator pulley has snapped off the casing. So that was like 400, 500 quid. I didn't expect to spend that weekend on a new alternator. We lost the car for the day. Lucky enough, the garage was quite amenable to us because he realised we were on holiday, so we needed the car, and he agreed to do that. We got an Uber to the British Motor Museum, and we carried on our day. And by the time we finished in the Motor Museum, he'd ordered the new alternator. It had been delivered. He fitted it. He's tested it. He's topped up all my fluids because it looked like it had damaged the water pump, or the pipe into the water pump. That's where the fluid was everywhere. It wasn't a great start to that holiday. To be fair, it wasn't a great start at ownership of this car. After that, the lights kept coming and going. They're very intermittent what was happening with those lights. The same lights, the TPMS, the smart city braking and engine management. So we bought one of those little Bluetooth things, we plugged it in. You know, not being a mechanic, don't understand all the codes that go with it, but we've got a mobile mechanic, Jason from Speed Industries. You'll see his little air freshener here, and he came out and he had to look at it for me, and then we started working our way through it. Now, I did mention the brakes to him, about replacing the brakes. I said I wasn't comfortable with them. We felt a bit spongy and making a big sound. When I'm braking, it was a big clunking sound. And when he had to look at it, the back brakes were seized. He said, you know, they should have replaced those brakes. Now, that made me question the quality of the MOT, because surely those brakes would have come up on the MOT. So we've ended up replacing the front and the back brakes, the full set, discs, pads, the lot. Just get them done. The amount of miles I do, I want to be comfortable in that. So that was another thing. So far, I've replaced the alternator and front and back brakes, full system. We then started looking at the engine problems. So he plugged it in, and he got the same codes that we did, and he come to the same conclusion that we did. It was part of the boost system for the turbo. So we've ended up replacing the throttle body, that was full of gunk. That's ended up being replaced. And on Friday, we're going to replace the boost pressure sensor. So see if that changes that. The car's also had a full service as well, and I mean full. Everything we can think of, we have done. Right. So, in the way of buying the car from a dealership, I've had probably more issues buying it from the dealership than I have with Teddy buying from an auction. So it's not always greener on the other side. Now, do I love this car? Would I change this car? Yes, I love this car, and no, I wouldn't change this car. I know this particular engine on the CX-5, it's got a bad rep. Even with the issues, it's never missed a beat. You know, it pulls like a train. It's quick off the line. It's great for long journeys like I'm doing now. I'm 85 miles into a 220 mile journey, right? And I'm really comfy. The leather seats are really comfy. You know, all the different adjustments that I can make on this, I've got the same sitting position in this that I have in Teddy, or it feels that way, and I'm really comfortable in Teddy. Now, I'm 5'10", 17 stone, so I've got shoulder issues, I've got lower back issues, I'm waiting for 2 knee operations. So to be able to sit in a really comfy position for the amount of driving I do is brilliant. The car's got heated seats, it's got air conditioning, it's got Bluetooth on the stereo, you know, the built-in sat-nav. It's got everything I need to do my journey. Okay, now for a car that was a 63 plate when I got him, he's still a 63 plate, I'll just put a private plate on him. You know, he is going to have issues, and I think the issues that I'm seeing now is because when I go into the sat nav, when I got him, all the points of interest and all the save locations that the previous owner had was all 10 miles away from where they lived. So they've not let him warm up, they've not let him get into actually being a car or a diesel car before they've turned them off. They've got to the journey, turned them off, he's just warming up, and he's probably gunked up everywhere. No doubt I'm going to have to clean something else full of soot, probably manifolds or something like that full of soot. But he's getting where I need him to be. And like I say, we've had all the bad winds, we've had all the snow, and for those of you that know where I work, you know, when we were out damage assessing, he never missed a beat in all that bad weather. You know, I was made up to be in this car at that time of year. Okay, we've been everywhere in this car. I've done 15,000 miles in him since July. You know, so that's just putting put you in the picture about what I'm doing with this car. What's next for him? There's a few little bits I need to fix. The speakers have blown. The Bose speakers, the original ones, so they need replacing. Like I say, the boost sensor's being replaced. I think I've got a leak in the valve in the driver's front tyre, which is currently the driver's front tyre. With them being all-wheel drive, we need to rotate the tyres quite regularly. There's a few little creaks that I'm hearing, but that might be because, like I say, we do use them for ferrying stuff, so the back seats are up and down all the time, the back partial shelf is out quite regularly, so that's probably what to do with that. Yeah, I wouldn't change them for the world. However, going back to what I was saying before, buying from a dealership, it's not always the best sort of experience. The customer service I got from the dealership I dealt with, and these guys had 5-star reviews from Zuto and everybody else, which is shocking. I'm not going to name and shame them, They are in Bury. If you are watching, you know who you are. You know, if you're not watching, oh well. You know. Yeah, so I'm probably about £3,000 deep into this car after 6 months of owning them. That might be a bit of an exaggeration. Probably say about £2,000 deep in making repairs, but I wouldn't change him. You know, I love him. He's a great little car for me. Great addition to our fleet. But yeah, like I say, with the issues that we've had with Lana's Clio, with issues we've had with this, I'd really be careful buying from a dealership. Maybe get an independent AA check done on the car. Make sure what you're buying is what you're buying. You know. But without all the issues I've had with this, I have questioned the last MOT in my mind. So that's why I'm just getting all the work done now, so when his MOT's up in July, I know he's going to go through it perfectly. You know, I don't want any hidden issues coming up to me where I'm thinking I've got a clean MOT with no advisories, so all of a sudden I've got a list as long as my arm. Let's get it all done now, get him serviced, get him looked after. But like I say, I think part of his issues is that the previous owner's not used him for what he wants to be used for, and it might have been a shock to the system for him all of a sudden to me doing what I do with him now. I hope that puts you in where my mindset is, and yeah, I do agree with some of the comments on the previous videos. Buying from auction is a risk, and we did it fully aware of what we were buying. The Bluey, who's the Mazda Cooper, so the Mini Cooper S, isn't our first car we've bought from Manor Park. However, it was our first time buying in person, so we know the service is great for Manor Park. We know what we're buying carries a risk, and you know, we're in a position, fortunately enough, where we have got a little bit of money where we can spend on certain vehicles that we want to keep running. Yeah, so thank you for all your support recently. Continue watching us. We've got lots of car shows and stuff booked between March through to July, and there's going to be plenty of content for us, plus updated videos from all 4 cars and what we're doing with all 4 cars. Yes, there is only 2 of us in the household, and we have got 4 cars. So yeah, keep watching, and like I say, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Catch you on the next one. Bye bye.